got it.
Ain't wrap too big. Sweet with it.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the True Love Movement. I'm your host, Brother Shaq.
And Mama Fire.
And we'd like to welcome everyone here to this lovely November 12th, 2016 here in New Orleans.
It's been a beautiful day today.
It's been a beautiful day.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful day.
And plenty of things going on in the community today.
Definitely. But the one thing that I'm on that's going on in the community, Mama Fire, is the True Love Movement Hour right here. On
Yes.
WBOK 12:30 a.m. for Real Talk, Real Times. This is our 150th live broadcast, family.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, we are celebrating 3 years here at WBOK 12:30 a.m. on today. So this broadcast is extra special and timely for many reasons. But we do thank you for tuning in with us here on the air. Shout out to our Facebook Live family.
What's happening Facebook Live?
We are, of course, broadcasting from the True Love Movement page on Facebook. All you have to do is log on to the True Love Movement page, like the page, and you'll be able to see today's historic broadcast as well. Of course, you can comment and give us some feedback. We like that. And, we're going to do it. We've got a jam-packed hour, jam-packed show. Like all of our shows, Mama Fire.
All the time. But let me just say, 3 is a magical, powerful number.
It is.
And it happens so fast. It seems so fast. But we've got so many shows, Brother Shaq. We've got some heavy shows.
Definitely.
We've got some powerful shows. We've got some real informative, focusing on solution shows, So I'm really proud of our catalog of shows. Hit everything, every subject that we could imagine about us being well.
Definitely.
About black people being well in
Definitely.
particular, the things that we can do to get better as a people.
Definitely. And I'm extremely proud of that also, Mama Fire, because, there's for each show, there's always a lot of thought and care taken into developing the topics and
Yes.
and that we are, we have prided ourselves from the very beginning on not being a current event show or a reactionary show.
That's right.
That talks about things after they've happened, that we deal with things to come, because we understand if we will study history long enough, we'll know that, it does repeat itself if we don't learn from it. And so I'm really proud of that fact that and we do this show for our people to us, and to really be proud of, though, as a people. Like, I can say for every show we've ever had, all 150, Mama Fi, there's been no cooning, there's been no shucking and jiving, there's been none of that, because we would not dare waste this opportunity, or your ear or your time. There's so many things you all could be doing right now, and we want to give thanks for you being here with us.
And let me just say this, Brother Shaq. Our people need avenues of media that is just for us, where we talk to us. And so,
Definitely.
please, what's beautiful about True Love Movement is that we have this vehicle, this beautiful medium of radio, but then we do so much outside of this 1 hour on Saturday. And so not only do we talk the talk, but we walk the walk for real. And that's what's so beautiful about the movement that is True Love Movement, and how we've been able to share that tidbit, that small bit every week for an hour. But this is the top of the iceberg of what we do. And it's very enjoyable, and I've learned so much. I want to thank WBOK for having this space for us to be able to talk this way to each other and for each other.
Definitely, definitely. And there have been so many shows, Mama Fi, relevant to improving the condition of our people. All of them have. I've got so many favorites, but I was thinking about the Value of Free show.
Yeah, people love that show.
The Luminaries Leadership and Messiahs show, the games people play.
Yeah.
The Toolkit show.
That's my favorite one. Well, that's one of my favorite ones.
Right,
because it's really something you could use.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, all of the decoding
All
ones
the decoding shows
are my favorites, yeah.
We had the Relationship 101, 201, and 301 shows.
Yes.
Patriarchy show. Poverty and Paternalism show. America was a Real Trap House. That was several years ago. You remember that one?
The Warrior Women
the
show.
Warrior Women, yeah. The Evil That Men Do.
Yes.
Stockholm Syndrome. We had Terrorism in the Black Man. What's another one you dug?
The Lucy show, for
The
sure.
Lucy
The
show,
show about that. The high frequency music.
Right.
Show about any show about the media and unplugging from that. We mention that all the time. But the Toolkit show, I think, is number one on my list,
Right.
just because it's timeless.
Yes.
People can use those tools now all the time, and so we're going to eventually put those on our website and have them for people to listen to, because we hit every aspect.
Right.
We talk about relationships, and we move a paradigm, we shift the paradigm for everyone every time, because the title might say relationships, and you thinking relationships, intimate relationships, but before you can talk about intimate relationships, you have to talk about the relationship with yourself,
Right.
and then relationships are pervasive in our lives, and we all have relationships. You have
Everything
relationships
is
with your
about
children,
relationships, yeah.
relationships at work, relationships at home, relationships in the community, and so it's all been about getting our minds right, Brother Shaq.
Definitely.
And so I'm proud. I'm really proud.
And we use this opportunity for a deep dive. Again, there's enough superficial foolishness and surface kind of things available for people to listen to. And we wouldn't dare squander the opportunity to do more of that. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
So I want, we definitely want you all to know that, everything that we do is very well thought out and planned in terms of what we're going to bring to our people in this very short amount of time that we do have, because from the beginning we've designed these as learning tools, like you're saying, Mama Fi. These are things that we can learn from and apply readily to improving the condition of ourselves and our people. And today is no different. There's been a long week today. A lot of our people are feeling all kinds of things, and I'm hoping that in light of the events that did take place on Tuesday with the national election, the presidential election, what have you, that I'm hopeful, Mama Fi, that this just may be the death of the reactionary Negro after this. I am hopeful of that. Because it also, I would like to see us bury the misuse of the pronoun we, because I hear so-called black people talking about, you know, man, look at our country, and we over there going to war with this, and we, you know, and I've been thinking, who are you talking about?
Hmm.
But
That's what we're talking about today.
definitely,
Yeah.
and that's part of the mental health work that we do in undoing that kind of thing, because there is a misunderstanding about that possessiveness that we in our country, and I mean, listen, this has never been quote unquote our country. I mean, we were kidnapped and brought here and made to work. The idea that the fantasy that we could somehow assimilate and get the respect.
I think there's a huge difference between our country and our land.
Yes.
Because, yes, black people, as we know today, some were bought.
Sure.
And as slaves, but then some were already here. And that's what we need to understand. That's a paradigm shift, too.
Sure.
Today, when we get into some heavy-duty paradigm shifts into understanding that, no, we can't say we this country, but we can say we our people.
Definitely. And I'm speaking about the political designation by these people who called us black, that we didn't decide that.
Right.
And that is a political designation by someone else. So these people not only did that, but they named us, and they legalized it and made it legitimate in terms of law, and then and then they've got an entire arrangement where we sit at the bottom of that particular arrangement, but we actually hold it all the way up, and they count on us to maintain that position.
Mm-hmm.
So without any further ado, we definitely need to get into today's topic, which is Mama Fire. You coined and developed this one, so I want to definitely defer to you. But the title is Blacksit. That's right, on today's show, 150th live broadcast of the True Love Movement Hour here on WBOK 1230 in real times. Today's topic is Blacksit. Shout out to my oldest daughter too, Alexis, for hitting that 21 yesterday. Daddy loves you, baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy birthday, Queen. Okay, so I didn't coin the phrase Blacksit. We're just pulling from the idea of Blacksit.
Mm-hmm.
It started with a man, Ulysses Burley,
okay,
who was upset. I think he's a blogger, writer.
Mm-hmm.
He was upset when, of course, the shootings and killings of our people by the police.
Right.
And so in July of 2016, this year, he wrote an article, 21 Things We're Taking With Us If We Leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wrote stuff like rhythm, we're taking rhythm with us,
right,
and we're going to take the Prince and Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson catalogs, and he even went as far as to say we're going to take the He La Cells, the one from Henrietta Lacks, that were used for the polio. So he went hard, he went deep, he did 21, and it was in jest, but it was a way for him to cathartically release what he was feeling and the pain he was feeling,
right,
in a funny way. And then Awesomely Lovey, which is also a blogger, kind of took that and ran with it in a funny piece about what we're going to take if we leave.
The Blacksit.
Blacksit.
Yeah.
And so Blacksit is like blacks exit, like Brexit, which is Britain exiting the EU, which is the Europe.
The European Union.
Yes, European Union.
Yeah.
And so it's funny how the way we think of exiting is actually leaving the land. Physically leaving the land. And that's what this brother, Ulysses, was talking about. He was talking about going back to Africa, or going somewhere besides America.
Right.
And I think that's, if that trips your trigger and that excites you, then you should most definitely do it. But that doesn't have to be the way we leave, quote unquote leave, because Britain isn't leaving, or quote unquote physically leaving. They are leaving a union. They're making a decision to be independent, and I'm not championing what Britain's doing. I'm thinking about us as a people here in the United Snakes of America, KKK, Brother Shaq.
Definitely. I want to give a shout out to the brother Joshua Miles Bay. I saw something. Brother's a tremendous producer. We worked with him in the past, but today I saw something that he'd written, and it was a very simple thing, and it said, "You don't have to leave the United." He said, "You don't have to leave America to leave the United States."
Exactly.
And I thought how poignant. Of course, we know that to be true, and there's a lot to that we won't be able to cover, and will choose not to really delve into on the air for a lot of different reasons. But do keep that thought in mind, that it is in fact true that you do not have to leave America in order to leave the U.S. So
why would you leave a land that's yours? Why would you? Why would you? You know, and I understand you can leave it. You can go anywhere. And I was reading a lot of comments that were attached to these articles, and black people were like, "Well, y'all need to go then just leave. Y'all stupid fools," and I mean angry about people saying they wanted to leave. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is black people are so busy targeting and being angry at each other that they can't really see clearly on who the enemy is.
That's right.
And many of them will say, "Oh, there is no enemy," and we
right.
and that's cool too.
Sure.
But who choking you is my question. Right. If you want to call them enemy, friend, whatever you want to call them, there's somebody choking you.
There's a relationship.
Okay, and so that, and your people, we are, we've been talking about that a long time. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but we can turn this all around with one energy shift.
Definitely.
With saying, instead of trying to hurt and destroy and say why we wrong and what we did wrong and we shoulda, coulda, woulda, coulda, all those things, we should really set our sights on the one that is hurting us, or the one that has, purposely destroyed our sense of power and purposely destroyed how we view ourselves and our minds, and have us divided and trying to hurt each other. Turn that energy and just move it to the right direction. Some of the young people, I see young people all week. And my young people had questions because, there was only so much teachers can do at school, only so much parents understand. So when I see them, they know I'm going to tell them the truth. They know I'm going to get real with them and tell them the truth. And they feel powerless against this decision that is made for the United Snakes of America, KKK. They feel powerless. But I tell them, you do have power, young people. You have power in you, and you have power with your brothers and sisters. You do.
That's right.
You have power in the way you treat them. Two of you, I told some of the girls, two of you told me that you had a fight this week with your sister.
Right.
And then there's something major happening in the world right now where you feel unsafe and you feel as though you don't have any power. You do have power enough to say, "You know what, sister? Yeah, me and you, we might not get along, and yeah, we having an issue, but we're going to sit here and we're going to work it out because we got a real enemy. We are not enemies."
That's right.
And that's a small understanding of what we can do as a people right now.
Definitely. And I think our listeners know, and for all of our our faithful listeners and callers and viewers and what have you, this is not something that True Love Movement has never talked about. I mean, all of our shows essentially are about improving our condition and our individual responsibility in doing that for the collective of our people, but that we have to take care of the individual and the personal work first. But I wanted to say, Mama Fire, that when you were talking, I was thinking how I don't think our people have even begun to look at the impact of how our desire to assimilate. In other words, the people have done us this way from the very beginning, since for the entire relationship. If you want to look at it as a bad relationship, an abusive relationship. And of course, we have the Stockholm Syndrome, where we're protecting, our abuser, and we're, identifying with our abuser, and now we've even we're trying to assimilate with our abuser, and much of the letdown anywhere from the entire spectrum of people saying, well, you know, it's because people didn't vote and this and that and the third. They wanted it's like they wanted a different slave master, like not even understanding that this has never been about you, black people. It's never been, you know, trying to make things good for black people. There have been, I guess, 44 presidents there, and not one of them has redressed the situation, what America did to black people. No reparations, no nothing. And so it's a fantasy of ours, you know. It's really a fantasy that's been handed down for generation after generation after generation, that one day, you know, like in an abusive relationship, if it's the man abusing the woman, one day he gonna stop, or one day he don't really mean it. It's just, you know, like we're doing that, and we've been doing that, and we have quote unquote hope, and we know hope is dope, and it damn sure ain't a strategy. But so we kind of been resigned to the idea that we're going to have a slave master, and we want to even pretend that we have a say in who our slave master is going to be.
Come on, brother
Shane. And it is part of the fantasy, much like sports. When I talk to people about sports, because all of the sports fanatics, when we break down sports and the illusion or the manufactured idea of competition, and how it's not really real. But the reason why so many people love sports and sports generates so much money, and it pays people ridiculous salaries, and you know, really at the end of any big sporting event or sport contest, there's nothing, you know, definitive that's really happened in terms of moving the world.
Right.
But
and
people
love it.
are very emotionally invested in it, and what you find is that it's because they are able to pretend to be in the game. They're able to pretend to be competing. They talk about, again, those pronouns. That's my team. That's our team. You know, all those kinds of things. When they don't really have a stake in it, they don't make any money off of it. Whether the team wins or loses, they're still in poverty, and they're still in the same condition, and they're still, you know, in this racist construct here in America. But for the few moments, they have the sensation of being literally in the game.
Yeah.
And for them not to even understand how important it is that keeps going, because while that's happening, the people who really are drawing money and resources and positioning because of that, they have to have the people on the bottom feeling like, or pretending, or fantasizing and hoping the illusion that they can be a part of it without having to do anything. So it's complete evil genius, much like the stealing of an entire landmass.
Come on.
And by rapists and murderers. And so that is the foundation of this America. And that's history. And so how could something like that ever be righteous? It cannot be. So we're not seeing something new. It's not that our country is somehow declining. It's not, you know what I'm saying? This is the foundation of this thing. And I know our people have really wanted things to be different someday, some way. When they talk about our ancestors dying for the right to vote, the only reason our ancestors died for the right to vote is because they thought that if they had rights and equal rights to this white man would say, okay, you are like me. It's always been about trying to get them to tell us, you are okay, and you really are like us, and we really do accept you and respect you and love you as we do ourselves. That's been the fantasy.
Yeah.
And so so they died because they thought if we can just get that, then everything will be okay. They'll get their foot off our necks, and we'll all be together, and it'll be one love and kumbaya and a colorless society. But that was never the aim of this place. So that would never happen, because if that happens, who's going to do all the serving? Who's going to keep the machine running if we're all the same and we're all equal? It's all built on fantasy. As our good ancestor Marcus Garvey said, the whole world, and he was talking about the American construct, runs off bluff. The whole world runs off bluff. So We do have, and that's good. I'm glad people are calling. We didn't even get a chance to give out the call-in number, Mama Fire.
Well, go ahead.
But I'll give it out, 504-260-9265. Again, that call-in number is 504-260-9265. You see, our regular listeners, they got the number already, Mama Fire. They don't need all of that.
That's
For all of you
right.
who are first-time listeners, again, the number is 504-260-9265. And I want to hear that point you were getting ready to make. We're going to go to the lines. Go ahead, caller. Thank you for holding. What's happening? Yes, sir. Yes, I recognize you. How you doing, brother? Topic, yeah, the topic is Blacksit. The topic is Blacksit. Is in black people exiting and leaving. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. 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 Right.
Hmm.
Yes. Familiar.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Right. What'd you tell him? Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And that's us tapping into our frequency. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And what Bobby Hemmett used to say, that Christ energy.
That's right. And brother, as you were talking about Bobby Hemmett, no, I wanted to thank you really for bringing that, introducing that, and particularly about Bobby Hemmett, because he's another soldier who's been in this for a long time, raising the consciousness of our people. And and what I would say is I would encourage people to listen to some Bobby Hemmett tapes or watch some of the old YouTube videos and Brother Panic is another one, and brothers who have been dealing with metaphysical things.
Yes.
In addition to, we would love to get into much more of that, but for our show today, we'll have to defer that to off air. You dig? But we thank you for calling, brother. We thank you for listening, man, and we're proud that you were dropping them kind of jewels at work like that, man. Yes, and what ended slavery. That's correct. With the Yoruba ritual. Right. That's right. That's right. Right. The Haitians were the only ones who took their freedom. And it still is, brother. Right on.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Right on,
Thanks.
brother. We thank you, man. We got the lines lit up. We got the lines lit up, Mama Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank the brother for mentioning some things.
Yeah.
It's a trip how people after Tuesday were just really losing their minds, crying and, wearing black, and saying, we're in mourning. They need to put on that red, black, and green, you heard me, and understand what the black nation is. And that, yes, the black nation does exist. And no, we're not as powerful as we could be. And we are disorganized and we're sick and we have a lot of issues. But guess what? We are here. And so when we understand, and when we understand who we are and we understand how powerful we are together, the black nation is a powerful nation.
Definitely.
Inside of a nation that we can choose to be a part of or not.
That's right.
And that's what Blackset is about.
Right on. And the brother did mention something about the question of there being a race war or not. There was a race war when these people kidnapped and enslaved black people. That was the kickoff of the race war. So there ain't no race war that's getting ready to start. If you don't know you're at war by now.
Come on.
I mean, this is all we've ever known is war. We have never known peace in this land. Peace or justice in this land at the hands of the people who are, controlling what's happening. So if that ain't a war,
come on.
I mean, come on. So we need to. I guess that's more of the paradigm shift.
Yes.
And of course, we see it happening. I think it's good that it did happen because now more and more people are really convinced. Like when some of, and we've been talking about this forever. And not on the show. I'm talking about off the show and in real life and dealing with this and doing the work. And many people have, and so they're good. They're not distraught or anything.
And there's definitely more that we can do. But I can say this, that I've been exiting from this place, this idea of our country for a really long time.
Right.
When you take your children out of the school system, that's Blackset.
Right.
When you choose to get whatever you need from your family, from your people, that's Blackset.
Mm-hmm.
When you decide everything you do in your life, where you work, how you earn your income, all of those things is going to be for us, by us, that's Blackset.
Right.
And we're making plans and organizing to be able to take care of all of our needs. That's Blackset. So won't you join us?
Definitely. And in order to do that, True Love Movement has been educating and working to teach our people what self-love really is.
That's
why
right.
That's the vital part of that.
Yes.
I know many people don't connect those two, and that's where the deficiency comes from. That's where all the insanity is at. Because it's a very simple thing. If, in fact, you authentically love yourself, the you that you're with 24 hours a day, the you that you've been with your entire life, if you really do love yourself unconditionally, and I'm not talking about that warm, fuzzy feeling, I'm talking about it's evident in your actions.
Yes.
Because love is an action word. If that is, in fact, the case, and you are healthy and well, well, when you recognize your brother and your sister, you know how to deal with them because you recognize that is just me over there.
And if they are not well, you still recognize that.
Yes.
Because there was a time when you were not well. If you grew up in this society, you know what I'm saying, and like a regular average human being,
Definitely.
and you ate and ingested all the things they had for you, then there was a time when you wasn't well, and so you could recognize that in your brother and sister. You don't hate them for that.
Definitely.
You don't hurt them for that. You say, brother and sister, we got some work to do, and
Definitely.
we work and we work and we work to be healthy.
And it's important too for us to understand where that kind of hatred for one another comes from what we have ingested and what we have internalized. That's where we're at with it. We are looking at things as though we are, like, we talk about it here on the show. We're not in our right mind, but rather we're in our white mind.
That's right.
We are trying to fantasize that we are in fact our own enemy, and we are acting in accordance with that, as that we
every
are our
day,
own
every
enemy,
day.
because we are fantasizing because we want to be anyone but exactly who we are, because we're in a very difficult condition. However, as much as we fantasize about it, we will not be our enemy. We will not become our enemy. As much as we want to be like our enemy and have the black version of this,
Come on, Brother Shaq.
even when you have that, or you say I'm the black this, or you still paying homage and giving credit and upholding and being very complicit in racism, white supremacy as a black person,
That's
which
right.
is insane, and no well person would do that.
Come on, Brother
if you
Shaq.
in fact were well.
Wow. I just want to say this. You talked about war and being at war.
Mm-hmm.
So all this went down, right, Wednesday, because it was so late by the time they said that this person was, quote unquote, the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, it seemed like everything was crumbling. Because, see, me and you, we went to bed. Because we know that sleeping enough makes us well.
Right.
And being able to do the things that we do every day, uplift and empower our people every day, which is not easy work. And so we have to take care of ourselves. So we went and we did what we had to do to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
And so Wednesday, there was also a black woman who was 9 months pregnant that was killed, Brother Shaq.
Yes.
And so when we talk about war, we are so confused about what war looks like for our people. You don't realize that war is a dead mother, a mother with an unborn baby who is also dead. But and war also looks like when they talked about it on the news, they never talked about the baby.
Right.
As if the baby was also killed. The mama was 9 months pregnant, but let it have been in a white neighborhood, Brother Shaq. They would have mentioned the mother and the unborn child. It's the way that we are seen, my people, by these people. Now we have to wake up and see each other.
Because
and really see who we are and what we need to do to get well, to get better. Because when we're talking about Black Sit, we're talking about together exiting from the idea of the government of the United States of America.
And being governed.
And those things. But you can only be well to be a part of that Black Sit, because any other time that doesn't even make sense to people.
Right.
People like, people were saying Black Sit was going to Africa. We all confused.
Right. And even the idea that you should be ruled by someone, that you should have a leader, that you should have a lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been internalized in our people. So we're just seeking another leader or a lord. And I'm talking specifically to our people, because the idea is that the quote-unquote president of the corporation, the CEO, is the leader.
Come on.
That's the idea, that they're the leader. And, of course, if someone is a leader, then the leaders have followers. It's a real slick thing. But we don't even think about that, because here's what I'm saying. When I heard someone speaking about the black leaders, or where are all the black leaders, that right there is evidence of a person who is also not fully well and not healed. Because if there is a such thing as a black leader, that means someone else gave the title of a black leader, because that means it's not just a leader. See, we don't talk about the white leaders, or where's the white leadership? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So whenever you have to preface it and use the adjective, it's a black leader, Well, if it's a black leader and white people are running everything, that black leader exists at the pleasure of the white people, and the black leader was given as the leader. You see what I'm saying? Somebody, and so even the idea that there must be a black leader or black leaders is internalized racial inferiority.
Yeah.
Because you don't need someone to lead you anywhere. Not if you are a well and whole individual. That is insane to think that you must. I mean, really, but again, we are socialized into thinking we have to have a leader and we must obey the leader and respect the leader. And most importantly, the leader ain't never us. We ain't our own damn leader, that's for sure.
Right.
So if whoever is the most intelligent or the most productive or the most powerful is outside of us, it's over there, they're in the sky, they're somewhere,
Right.
but they ain't us. And we were socialized immediately to think that way. So we actually at a loss. So we're always looking for and looking to and looking up and wanting someone to come in and make it all right, without ever looking at who in the hell made it like this. How did it get like this? And it's like this for us. It isn't like this for everyone.
That's right. And you know, Brother Sheikh, that brings in mind the hashtag Not My President that had been going on, and how deep that hashtag is. And it's really the truth about blacks. You know, that's connected to blacks in many ways. If you're saying that's not my president, then you're also saying that the rules and the government and all that is not yours either.
Now that's heavy.
That's heavy. So wake up. If your mind or heart is saying not my president, then really take it for them. Then really understand that it is not your country.
Right.
It's taking a whole nother level. Yes, this is your land. And yes, this is your place to be. But it doesn't have to be your country. Because according to your country, Donald Trump is the president of the United States. So if you choose to say not your president, then take it a step further and really understand how you can govern yourself, black people.
And that you should govern yourself. I mean, that is where all
That's the
power,
whole paradigm. So you're right there. That you should.
That's where all power is. And for our so-called black people in particular, that is a really big idea, because we have been socialized into thinking that could not happen, because we were warehoused. We've been warehoused since we've been here. The idea of black and the idea that all black people are alike and all black people need this. And what black people have been denied in racism and white supremacy is the human right of individualism. That is what has been denied. So you don't even know who you are. You know everything about everybody else, but you don't know about who you are. I'm talking about you as an individual, let alone the collective of our people. But someone has knowledge, and the people who have knowledge are the ones who made the rules, and they're winning. And you're serving them, because as much as our people would like to leave Mama Fire, white supremacy don't want to let nobody go.
Come on.
Because they need the consumption, they need the fear in black people to keep this thing going.
Yes.
That is a necessity for the machine to work. That is the reason why our black people have been appeased. It's not that people really respect black people, but they understand that because of the condition that black people were deliberately put in, that they are a gold mine. And they talk about in God we trust in America. They're talking about the money, the dollar.
That's right.
That's the God. And so black people love God, but don't have God. Not that God. So they give the black people some other God and say, if you do well, you'll go to heaven. But in the meantime, we got to get this money. And we cool with that arrangement, Mama Fire. Before we go too far, and of course it is a fast hour, and we do appreciate your time with us and would love to hear from you. Let me give out that call-in number again, 504-260-9265. Again, that call-in number is 504-260-9265. Mama Fire, we really have to bring up something that I know you are very well familiar with, and that is the many reports that are flooding social media and even some mainstream media of incidents of harassment and even violence against black people and specifically black women since Tuesday's election results.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing. That again is not uncharacteristic of war, mind you.
Right.
But it is something that many of us may be taken by surprise, and I would like you to kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let me tell you, I was taken by surprise, Brother Shaq. I definitely was taken. I was. Just went to a gas station. Ever since the Shell station on Paris is no longer black owned, I just go to the one by my house. And so went there like I do all the time. Never had a problem ever getting gas at any time of day or night. And so I went to get gas and had a little interaction with a white man. Never had a problem like that before ever in my life. And never seen a face like that before that he gave me ever in my life. And I realized that I was face to face with the devil, Brother Shaq, and that's what it looked like to me, the way he was looking at me. But guess what? I said, get behind me, and he did. So I don't want to dig into the story as much as dig into the understanding that we need to be alert and aware at all times. There are ways that we can protect each other and ourselves. We stay together. We, get gas in groups. I mean, whatever we got to do to have each other's back, and also be prepared, weapon-wise, be prepared to be able to, defend yourself if you need to.
Defend yourself, neutralize any threat.
Neutralize the threats. And we are so blessed that we've had self-defense training, serious self-defense training. Extensive self-defense training where, weapon, it doesn't have to be a gun or a knife. I mean, there are things that we can do as a people to protect ourselves without those things. And so that's my point today. I don't want to dig into the story. I've told the story over and over again, but it wasn't until Thursday morning that I realized the gravity of it, because I saw that other things were happening. I had not seen other things popping off like it was on Wednesday until I got home. And so, the gravity happened to me on Thursday when I was like, that could have really been ugly. Like that, I was really out there kind of loose, not prepared. But in my mind now, I know to always be on alert that, quite possibly I may have to defend myself.
Right.
And defend my, property or whatever the case may be.
What you're explaining, Mama Fire, for our listeners or viewers who may be otherwise unfamiliar, is you're talking about terrorism. That's exactly what terrorism is, and every person of color in this particular land has always known terrorism. That is the number one toolkit of the oppressor. And so we shouldn't be confused in thinking that Al-Qaeda or ISIS are terrorists. You live in a terrorist regime right here. But I want to put a call to action out to all of the black men and boys who can hear this or see this. And it isn't the first time I've said this, the first time we've talked about it here on the air. There is a fundamental thing that black men and black boys in particular can do for black people. And that is this. Wherever a black man is, every black person in his immediate space and vicinity should feel better simply because he's there.
Should feel safer.
They should feel safer simply because he's there.
Yes.
That is an obligation and a duty of a black man or a black boy to black people. That's why we've been talking very long about allegiance to black people. So that means you don't have to know the black person, or you don't have to be friends with the black person, or you don't have to have everything in common, or you don't have to like all of their choices. You don't have to like their religion. You don't have to like their sexual preference. You don't have to like all of the kinds of things that we like to be divided about as black people. You need simply to know that they are black as you are, and they are under the same tyranny that you are, and that it could be you. So if you are there, you should make sure that it is no one, and everyone should be very clear that because the black man is there, things are getting ready to get better. You should be prepared to do whatever is necessary to diffuse that situation.
That's right.
Because it could be your mother or your daughter or your wife or your cousin or your friend. So understand, again, if we were loving each other and loving on each other prior to what we now are recognizing more widely as a crisis, it wouldn't seem like we got so much work to do. So
Hmm.
we've been talking about this in preparation for what we knew was inevitable. So now I'm calling out to the brothers to make sure that when you see these sisters out here, make sure that they're not walking to their cars together. I mean, alone.
Yes, come on,
Make
Brother
sure that you're getting doors and you're being visible and you're being present. And so that requires, brother, you not to be a predator.
Come
That
on.
requires the sister to feel comfortable that you're not trying to do them something, because that is the disservice that we do to our people because of the hate that we have gotten from our oppressor. See, we are worried about what the brother gonna do. We worried about what the white boy gonna do. We just worried about everything.
Tell me
and
about it,
scared,
Brother Shane.
and that's all of our energy. No wonder we have low quality life. We want pop pills and drink lean and do all of that.
Come on.
So we can take ourselves out of that equation and make sure that all black people feel safe around you. That is a duty and obligation of a black man. I'm imploring to the brothers listening. We need you, particularly our warrior class, our brothers out on the street. We need y'all. We need you.
The brothers that don't mind dying.
That's right. The brothers that don't mind dying, the killers. You're so intent on killing and burying somebody. Make sure you know who your enemy is.
Come
brother.
on.
If that is your intent and if that's what you think you want to do while you're here, I can't stop that. But be clear. Know your enemy and know yourself.
Yes.
We got a call holding. Thank you for holding. What's happening?
Hey, what's happening, y'all?
Yes.
All right.
Y'all missed y'all show last week, so y'all already know this. I don't want to
Yes.
Hey, brother.
What's happening?
Yo, man, this is a great show. And just on that last topic y'all touched on about how Mama Fire's situation at the gas station
Mm-hmm.
happened. I've actually had a situation that was very similar, probably like right before the election was even over.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that this was going to happen.
Correct.
I recently got, I live in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say predominantly, I mean it's really like
It's you.
4 or 5 people that look like us.
Right.
You know, so there was some proudness in being there. And my partner is not necessarily an African American, but you would expect them to still know the challenges, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we really are facing a situation where we've always been under attack. That's for one.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always been surviving this attack. And we've been made to like terrorists because of our love, not just for each other, but how we endure these attacks. So we're made to look crazy because we're loving people that hate us. And now the people that actually hate us are coming out in the open. And now there's no right to protect us. And you're right, we do got to stand tall. We do got to make sure our women get where they got to go. We do got to stop looking like predators. We can be called a predator by anybody that don't like us anyway.
Correct.
You know? So, man, this show y'all got going on today, man. This show is the topic is at home. You know, I had to, I'm way out across another place, like Chicago or something like that. So we got trains,
Right.
trains and all that. And I wish y'all could have seen how the people were out there crying. And I'm talking about these were like white people
Sure.
That's right.
crying. And here I was, the only black dude that got up to say, hey, it's going to be okay.
Right.
And
And I.
I'm show you how powerful our love is.
It is.
It's the
It
Come
is,
on,
brother.
brother. Beautiful.
We showing up. Thank you for that display of love and calling in too. We're gonna make this available. It's on Facebook Live right now, and of course that recording will be there, and there'll probably be some more editing or whatever done on YouTube. But as always, bro, you're a great supporter and a great soldier. We thank you, dear brother. Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as the love goes, you know, I don't know, y'all. It was love that resonated with me from y'all, and the love from y'all city
Yes.
that built my camaraderie up.
Yes, sir.
Man, you know what? These are our people.
Right.
You know, regardless of our affiliation, regardless of whether we're congregating with any race, but we are representing as one for all of us.
That's right.
Out of it goes. So you guys keep up the champion work. I love y'all.
Right on. Love you too,
Love
brother.
you too, brother.
Our community coming from a better place.
Right on.
You guys rock harder than concrete. Keep it going.
Right on. Thank you, dear brother.
Thank you, brother.
Right on.
And I just know New Orleans got some serious movement happening here, and always has. I mean, we have energy down here that is not metaphysical, to say the least. I mean,
Definitely.
you know, we have a connection to the other side here, and we have connection to our deep-rooted culture from Africa and from Haiti and from all over the world. And really, this is the root of the revolution down here in New Orleans. You better believe it. And so when we get our minds right, and that's what we working for. True Love Movement is working for getting our people's mind right and moving.
So Black said Mama Fire for our people, it's been a fast hour, a lot of material, a lot of information, but all of our shows, 150 episodes already, has been already lots of material, and so, I mean, that's the whole thing. Where the information is not new, where the information is not a result of the election, we're not saying anything we haven't said before. We just may be talking to some people who now are ready to listen,
Yeah.
to what's already been said, to people who are already doing the work. And to again, my hope is that this mass situation from the mainstream collective people who are plugged into that stuff will be the death of the reactionary Negro in all of us.
That's right. I think we should visualize a powerful Black nation, what it looks like, what it feels like, and what it really, really is. Because if you don't, I think the song that's coming up says, where there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
When you understand that it must happen, that it will happen, then everything opens up for you. For the folks that's saying, oh, that'll never happen, and oh, this message isn't for you. Excuse me, this message isn't for you. This message is for the people who know it must happen, and it's got to happen right now. And I want you to take your creative visualization and close your eyes and visualize what it looks like.
Right.
Because it's possible, and it really is happening. And so don't miss the train. Like, don't miss the bus. Don't miss the understanding that we are powerful enough to be self-sufficient and independent.
Self-governing.
Self-governing, self-sufficient, meaning, now understand self-governing, but it makes sense. And yes, self-governing, but self-sufficient, taking care of all of our needs. All of them. And independent from all, from the government, from the country, from it all. And so that's what Black Sit is. And once you visualize it, really start planning how you're going to get there. Think about the paradigm shifts that you have to make in your family, the ones who reside in your own home, to understand what it takes for us to do this. Brother Shaq, we're going to begin having classes, and that's all I'm going to say.
Right.
If you are interested in the classes that we will have weekly, you can call the Love Line. True Love Movement has our own Love Line. It's 504-309-LOVE. Call us and leave a message. We want to call you back and give you the details on our classes.
504-309-LOVE.
LOVE.
True Love Movement.
True Love Movement.
And also, while you're talking about True Love Movement, there's, if you want to understand more about True Love Movement, because we're a well-kept secret, I think, in many respects, Mama Fi, simply because, again, even conceptually, what True Love Movement does and is and has been doing is not at all conventional. It is not a white version of, it's not a black version of anything white. So it requires a little bit more look, a look. And so, we would invite you to do that. Follow us, if you would, on social media we're at True Love Movement on Instagram. Of course, the True Love Movement page on Facebook. And the True Love Movement Hour is a YouTube channel where there's several videos of work that we've done. And then there is the Twitter at TLMHR, if you want to keep up with True Love Movement. Again, Black Sit is a very real thing, and it has been for a long time. And we know our people are desirous of having real liberation. And we also know that it'll never happen if someone gives it to us. And so just changing that little bit of thought in your own mind.
That's right. Black Sit is in your mind first.
Yes.
And you have to move yourself, your mind, away from and leaving things that do not suit you.
Definitely.
And so, yes, on one level, it could be, what we're talking about, a political movement, but it's other things too. The food that does not suit you.
Yes.
The things that you are watching on TV. If it's not about Black liberation, then it doesn't suit you, my people. If it ain't about anything that's going to make you better and make you wiser and understanding who you are, then it's trash.
Right.
And so, here I go.
And
But it's all good.
the necessity of you becoming a producer of
Yes.
all things for
Creator. Be
yourself.
the creator you
Right?
are.
Because the system that exists only works because you are the consumer and you have no idea how to produce for yourself. So as long as you locked into it on that relationship tip, then you can't get away and they can't let you go. It's a
Self-sufficiency.
very dysfunctional relationship that our people have been socialized into. And it ain't no coward stuff getting out of it. I mean, it really takes a lot. And so we know we are well equipped to do that. And we look forward to, again, I think it's a good day for our people.
Come on.
And I'm
So
very
wake up,
hopeful
rise up day for our people for sure.
and optimistic, especially about what's happening on tomorrow. I want to shout out our dear brother Nadir Bamani. He always says, black love is undefeated.
Yes.
And of course, Mama Fire, we know that very, very well and very personally, and that's part of how we live. But I wanted to reference that, brother, because there's so many people out there who are not, coons and clowns and don't drink the Kool-Aid and never did drink the Kool-Aid. They're not reactionary. And I think those people should be recognized, and everybody should also understand that we're not talking about creating something that doesn't already exist.
That's
We're just
right.
encouraging more of it, just for the benefit of our people collectively, because the individuals who have discovered it are fine and all well and all growing and thriving. But on tomorrow night, our good brother T. Ray the violinist, brilliant brother. He's actually my younger Leo twin brother too as well. But we share a birthday. But the brother is the violinist with Dreams to Reality. His band. He conceived the idea of having a night for lovers, for couples. You know what I'm saying? Focusing on that and celebrating black love. And what he conceived, he called it Love Jones. And so Love Jones is going to happen tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, from 6 o'clock to 10 p.m. at the Rebellion Cafe. And I don't have the address in front of me. I apologize, but it is easy to find. It's Rebellion. It's been out there for a very long time. Dreams to Reality and T-Ray are going to do an entire set, maybe two sets actually, tomorrow evening. And for the people there, you can RSVP. You can buy your tickets and reserve your seats online. If you go to T-Ray's page on social media, there is a Facebook event called Love Jones. You can check that out. It's going to be beautiful because, number one, somebody focusing on love is what definitely is what's needed. But for the strengthening of our black people to understand that black love is, like our good brother Nadia says, undefeated. It is still undefeated. Black love is a very real thing. And so Elliot Love will also be on deck. I want to say he's opening up, and there may be some other surprises. And notably, we're excited because True Love Movement is actually hosting the event. The brother T-Ray asked if we would like to participate and host, and it is indeed an honor to be a part of that. Yeah. So on tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, from 6 to 10, over at Cafe Rebellion, the Rebellion Cafe, I'm sorry, T-Ray, the violinist, and Dreams to Reality will have for you all, for the lovers out there, the lovers in you, Love Jones.
I like that.
Celebrating black love.
Yeah. And then tonight is Stella's open mic, and our sister, my little sister, I love her, is Joy.
Joy, who that clock?
Joy, yep, and Guitar Joy.
Guitar Joy.
As we love to call her. So she's the featured artist tonight at Stella's.
Singer, songwriter, and musician Joy Clark is over there tonight.
And then tomorrow, I think during the day, they're having a community care day. Yeah. And so you can look on social media for Angela Kinlaw. She's I'm not sure if she's heading it up or what, but we saw it on her page on Facebook.
Got some info.
She got info for the community care day. We got to love on each other, y'all, and remind people who don't understand their power that we have the power to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, all that emotion we got, let's make sure we keep it healthy. And what I'm saying by that is, let's not be all down and sad and then perk up because Black Friday's coming and we get to give these people a little bit of money. that we do have, so we can feel better about
Come on,
ourselves by
Brother Shaq.
buying something that's produced and sold to us by the people who are keeping us in this condition.
And we did that show 3 years ago
Definitely.
because we don't give anybody our money. We have to really be stacking money or spending with our community that we know spends with our community.
Definitely, that's an act of
Recycling
love.
and moving.
That's an act of love. That's
Yes.
an act of self-love. So we
And
want to.
then we don't have to consume. We have enough. We have what we need.
That's right. And so we want to thank our listeners for 150 live broadcasts over the
Yes.
last 3 years. Boy, we want to thank WBOK 1230M for being brave and having having the station here where we are talking to our people for real.
That's right.
And so we thank our listeners, we thank our callers, everybody that we could not get to. We thank our Facebook Live family. We would ask that you share True Love Movement.
Please share.
The videos, share these kinds of things, because I understand right now it may be timely for some people who weren't ready for it before. The good part is we were already there cooking it up for you. And so I would ask to share True Love Movement. Check us out. We provide licensed professional counseling specifically formulated for black people.
That's right.
And many, many other things, professional developments for schools. And we're also available to talk to students. So many educators out there, so many teachers want to address this with their students, and they are afraid. They're feeling a lot of pressure from white administrators and white co-workers not to talk about this in a way that's empowering to our people. And so if you're in a position where you cannot do it, there's nothing says I love you like investing in a black-owned business. Let us do it. Get True Love Movement over there.
Yeah.
And that's organizing, and we'll take care of that for you.
That's right.
And so, without any further ado, our brother Shaq
And Mama Fire.
for the True Love Movement Hour. Wholeness.
Wholeness.